Okay, we're going to talk about Degrons today. Statistics show that the average person here in the United States produces about 5 pounds of waste, solid waste, in a day. 2/3 of that is not recyclable. So for somebody with my body weight, I produce my own body weight of solid waste that needs to be dealt with in a month. And in the average lifetime, if I am lucky to live in my 80s, I would be producing 1,000 times my body weight. And that's a lot of waste that goes in the environment, to the landfill, other places. If as individuals we produce this much garbage, how about our cells? Because they are living units, and there is a lot of stuff going on inside every second of our life. When I was in medical school some 30 plus years ago, maybe more, now that I think about it, there was in the biochemistry class, I remember there was discussion about a protein, and nobody really knew what it was there for, but there was plenty of it. And for that reason, they called it ubiquitin, from a word in English that sounds similar. Do you happen to know what that word might be?
Ubiquitous.
Ubiquitous, yes, which means it's everywhere. So we were seeing, or the researchers were seeing, this protein in the cells everywhere. It turns out that this specific protein is part of a marvelous recycling system that we all have in each and every cell that is inside of us. And it's called the UPS. You know, in real life, UPS is something that transports. In our system, UPS is something that recycles. U stands for this ubiquitin, this protein that's everywhere. And the P stands for the proteasome, and then S is system. So this UPS system, what it does basically, there is a way for this system, to recognize from the billions of proteins literally that we have in every single cell, when one of them or many is getting old or damaged, or it's reached its normal lifespan. In fact, the average lifespan of human protein is in 1 or 2 days. Some live a few minutes, some live a few years, like the collagen in the bones and tissues, or the crystalline in the eye. Those proteins can live a few years. But the average protein lives a day or two. So every couple of days, this system has to be able to identify which one of them is ready to be taken down. And then you have to deal with it, because each protein is made of all these amino acids. Some have 50, like insulin. Some can have thousands of amino acids. So what they do is they tag them, okay? So this system is there patrolling, so to speak, seeing all these proteins, and once they identify one that is misfolded, or that it exhibits a signal, a feature called the Degron. Okay, this is the Degron. It's like a house. Imagine the protein is a 3-dimensional structure. It's like a house. And in earthquake-prone areas, sometimes they mark compromised houses. They put this tag around this line, and you don't get there, not safe anymore. Same thing happens with these proteins. They are being tagged. And the way they get tagged by the UPS system, it literally comes and snaps one of those ubiquitin proteins on it, and then another, and then a third. And once a protein gets 3 tags linked in a chain, then the proteasome, the P in UPS, recognizes it, and it starts to chop it into pieces. First larger pieces, and then in the end, each individual brick of that protein, amino acid, is broken as an individual unit and fully recyclable to make other proteins from it. So nothing is wasted. Wow. Everything is recycled. That's why in 80, 90, 100 plus years that we live, you don't end up with cells chock full of this waste that otherwise would accumulate with a turnover of 1 to 2 days. You imagine how much waste. However, that system is not perfect, because there are things that optimize this UPS system to work in tip-top shape, and the most prominent of that is exercise. When you exercise, this system is what we call in medicine, in biochemistry, up-regulated, meaning it gets working better. It's like ramps up and says, yeah, I can do the job, no problem. I can take care of all these bad proteins. I'll take them out, no problem. It upregulates it. So the more exercise you do, the better it works. But there are things in our lifestyle that can clog or slow this system down. And those are eating too much food overall.
Overeating.
It generates too much stuff for the cells to deal with, and they can't keep up with this thing. It clogs it. Or eating too much fat over a long period of time does the same thing. Too much sugar does the same thing. In fact, if you eat too much sugar or sugary things over and over again, sugar, or components of sugary foods like fructose, glucose, and other molecules like that, they bind in the same areas where the U tag would have to go. And the U can't tag this thing, so you have old proteins hanging around too long and not doing a good job. So that's why too much sugar has so profound effects over a long period of time if you like your sugar. And too little sleep does the same negative effect, because it turns out this recycling UPS system gets really active and more efficient at night when we sleep. So if you don't get the sleep, then it doesn't do its job as well. And there is dietary factors. We are just now beginning to study the impact of different diets on this UPS system. There is more data, I'm sure, over the next few years that will come, and I'm quite optimistic it will validate what we already know about plant-based diet, that they have beneficial effects for this. Here's the last thing. These Degrons, these markers that show the UPS who is ready to be taken down and recycled, they are themselves parts of the protein itself, meaning they are coded in the DNA that makes that protein. You get what I'm saying? They are in the template for the protein before it was even being put together, which means the protein is born already with that signal hidden inside of it. And that, in my mind, shows planning. Okay? This is a powerful evidence for design, where somebody thought about how can we tag this thing so we make the system efficient and they don't clog the system. Anyways, I hope that will be further inspiration and motivation for you to sleep well, to eat well, and to exercise, and to have a good, healthy lifestyle.